the industry has something to say about that, right? So
Yeah.
I think it's time to give the floor to the former president of this very Brazil-US Chamber of Commerce, current president of Companhia Cacique de Café Solúvel, and president of the Cacique International USA, my friend Sergio Pereira. Sergio, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Bruno. Thank you very much. I would like to thank the Consulate General, the Council, Maria Nazaré, and Bruno for your leadership. I would like to thank John also and the Brazilian American Chamber of Commerce for providing the resources, the platform. I must say, in my 40-something years in New York, this is the first time that I have the Chamber sponsoring an event of only coffee. So congratulations, John, and Bruno, congratulations for having organized this event for us. I'm a president of Companhia Cacique de Café Solúvel. We are the largest producer, the largest exporter of instant coffee. But as Bruno mentioned, I elected to present a view of the soluble coffee industry, which is one of the segments of the coffee business. You saw with Marcus the big picture. You saw the 40 million bags, the total exports of green coffee. You heard and you saw in the presentation of Vanusia, a specialty market, which is the specialty coffees that we sell worldwide, which we believe we will exchange some views, Vanusia, before the seminar. We expect that it's about 10% today. It's a growing market. I would say is one of the fastest growing market segment in the coffee industry. And now let's talk a little bit about the almost forgotten industry, which is instant coffee. There are a few companies in Brazil that produce instant coffee with very heavy investments in plant and facilities. And I would like to share with you my screen. I hope you are all seeing it. And I will make a brief presentation first, and then we'll all be open for questions if you have a further question on this. As I mentioned, I would like to present a view of the industry as a whole. I want to thank the Brazilian Instant Coffee Association, Abics. They have done a tremendous job in promoting instant coffee in Brazil and promoting it worldwide. So if we go into today's event, which I think is the first event, as I mentioned, in the history of the Chamber, only for coffee. We are celebrating the world's drink, the coffee as a whole. But here we are talking about instant coffee. How can we create domestic and export values and opportunities? A brief review of what is instant coffee is instant coffee is a product made with 100% coffee, and we have a few varieties that I would like to present to you. The most traditional one, which you have been accustomed during your whole life, is the spray-dried instant coffee. It's a powder that it's very convenient to use as a beverage. It can be agglomerated, which is a second step in the production, where we change the powder into granules, and we create an agglomeration process with a more sophisticated, more elegant product, and is still maintaining the delightful aroma and the flavor of the best coffees. More recently, we came with freeze-dried product, which is the same instant coffee using a different drying process in which the water of the coffee extract is removed during a sublimation process using high vacuum chambers at temperatures below 50 degrees centigrades. These minus 50 degrees centigrades, I'm sorry. And this preserves even more the flavor, the aroma, and the body of the coffee, keeping it intact. Two sub-products that are not well known is the coffee extract, which you may have seen in many supermarkets as a ready-to-drink beverage, which is used in 9, 10, 12% in all these ready-to-drink beverage, and the coffee oil, which is a specialty product used by the food industry or even by the fragrance industry, with the fragrance of coffee beans extracted from 100% coffee using a mechanical cold pressing process. What are we looking in instant coffee? We are looking for diversity. And the industry is focusing in the know-how to create a diversity of blends, diversity of flavors, and aroma. In other words, what we are looking for are products customized to our customers' needs. The types and grades of instant coffee that we produce in the instant coffee industry are the same that are exported for Brazil: Arabica green coffee and Robusta green coffee. With these two types of coffee blended together, we can have, through the production process, an excellent product, differentiated one from the other, and also make it the conventional instant coffee. We are a very small industry. We are only 6 plants, and in the next presentation, I will ask another line, because Cacique has a second plant here in the state of Espírito Santo, which is being commissioned this month. So we have 2 facilities in Brazil, but we are only 6 companies that are dedicated for the production of instant coffee. But even this small number of industry, we have the world's largest manufacturing capacity. We produce 133,000 tons of instant coffee per year. That's 5.7 million bags. Let's put in perspective. Brazil total production in an average year is 60 million bags. We export 40 million bags, as Marcus showed quite well. And Bruno has mentioned the number of 20 million bags, which is about what Brazil consumes. So if you talk about total production of Brazil, we are a little bit less than 10%. If you consider the exports, we are about 9.5%. But we are also in the domestic market, and we are growing in Brazil. If you look into this graph, you are going to see that we went from 2016 from less than 19 million kilos, 19,000 tons, to over 21.5 thousand tons of consumption in the domestic market of Brazil. So we are not one of the biggest consumers of instant coffee, but we are a very important market. Just to give a picture, when we talk about exports of instant coffee from Brazil, and I'm showing the 5 big industries that export, I have excluded in this chart the intra-company exports, let's say Nestle exporting for Nestle, but taking only the producers that export to third parties. Cacique is 45% of the total exports of instant coffee from Brazil, and we are the largest instant coffee manufacturer and exporter. If you look at the industry as a whole, we export to 110 countries worldwide in 5 continents. We are, Cacique, we are in at least 70 of these countries. Going back to the numbers that I just mentioned, instant coffee, total 5 million bags, and the exports of 4.1, as I said, about 10% of total exports, and domestic consumption of about 0.9%. If you look into a chart of the total exports, we have green coffee, Arabica, 79%, Robusta, 11%, and instant coffee, about 9%. 9.5, 9.2. We use 80% of our coffee are Robusta type and 20% Arabica. Robusta is grown mainly in the Espírito Santo state and Rondônia. So we are, as an industry, big supporters of the farmers in these both states. So going back to the basics, I liked, Vanusa, very much when you presented Brazil, the coffee nation. And I would complement Brazil, the instant coffee nation as well. We are the world leaders. And here I'm taking the 2020 figures because I wanted to present some other countries. In 2020, we produced 117,000 tons, the 5 million bags that I mentioned. We exported as an industry 95,000 tons. And in the domestic market, we are close to 22,000 tons of instant coffee. If we put this in perspective, in the left side, you have the largest producers. In Brazil has a 13.1 share. We are by far the largest producer of instant coffee, Mexico being the second, India, South Korea, Germany, United Kingdom, and Vietnam as a producer. In the right-hand side, you are going to see the exporters. And here Brazil has 14.4. Interesting, the biggest instant coffee producer is also the biggest exporter. With 80,000 tons, we export. And this data, because I had to get some other countries, is not the same as I presented before. This is 2 years behind. Interesting to see, Germany is the second largest exporter. With production of only 45,000 tons, number 5 in producer, Germany exports 68,000 tons. And this means that Germany is buying their instant coffee elsewhere, including from Brazil. Of course, you don't see Mexico in the right-hand side, because although they produce 67,000 tons, they are a big consumer of instant coffee. We heard a lot today about sustainability, about traceability, talked by the BSCA and by the Secafé. Well, we are also worried about all these. And if we take the industry as a whole, we have all possible certificates. The Rainforest Alliance, organic, different types of organic for Brazil, for the USA, for the Europe, IBD, for Japan. We have the kosher certificate. All industries are kosher certified, are halal certified. We have all SGS requirements because we supply to the packers worldwide that will place this instant coffee already processed in the supermarkets. So we have all the certifications for the export and for the consumers in all 110 countries where we operate as an industry. What's the methodology that we evaluate instant coffee? Well, number one, instant coffee is different from roast and ground. So we ask our consumers, do not compare what you are drinking as an instant coffee with the coffee that you percolate at home. It's a beverage, it's a coffee beverage, but we are looking for different flavors. We are looking for different ways that the consumer can have a beverage that is pleasant, that has the aroma, and that's satisfying. We try to convey this information to buyers and to consumers. For this reason, the Association of Instant Coffee Manufacturers have started a campaign under the theme Explore and Enjoy. In Portuguese, crie e curta. We want the consumers to create their own recipes, to create their own products, to really look for something that is pleasant to their taste. So the intensity of attributes, the differentiation that instant coffee can give to the consumer is very important for all of us in the instant coffee industry. And on top of all these, we add value to the commodity. We add value to the green coffee, exporting a product and producing a product that is different and that brings Brazil to the forefront of the instant coffee business. So how do we see coffee and instant coffee today and in the future? Well, it's practical. You don't need a brewing equipment. As a matter of fact, many years ago, our founder and the president, Mr. Coimbra, used to say, how much easier can it be if you can prepare a nice beverage and you just need fire, pot, and water. It's so simple. And that's what you need for instant coffee. Just fire, a little pot, and a little bit of water, and a beautiful beverage, instant coffee. You can use in 3-in-1. You can make different beverage using instant coffee. The prices are competitive. There is no waste. Everything that you have in a jar, in a tin, you can use. Furthermore, instant coffee, it's an entry door into coffee. So here we are working hand to hand with BSCA, with Secafé, because we are opening markets. Markets that never drank coffee, tea country drinking markets, the emerging market. All these, instant coffee is an easy open door. Look at what happened in Japan and Russia and all Eastern European countries that had no tradition in drinking coffee, and that today are very important consumers, starting with instant coffee. We see in the future the industry improving the quality. Raw material and technology has evolved. Specialty instant coffee. It's a segment that is growing considerably. Instant coffee with origins. You can see today in the Brazilian market, instant coffee from the mountains of Minas, from the mountains of Espírito Santo, and you can make your beverage, you can select your beverage using the best coffee through production in a process that is very sophisticated. Again, retaining customers and adding value to the coffee commodity. Just to give you an idea, what is an investment for production of instant coffee? It's a big plant, like you can see here in this picture, or the new facility that we are just opening in Linhares 2 years ago. That's what you saw there. And today, that's what you can see in our new plant, just under commission in Linhares. Behind all these, you have a very involving process, which I'm not going to go into details because we are going to show a very short movie.
it is possible to see the commitment of the industry. I think it's freezing. Is it? Oh, it's back. Okay.
Okay, let me close it here. Thank you very much, Bruno. I just want you to have this overall view of what is instant coffee. Next time you go to a supermarket, don't bypass the instant coffee section. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sergio. There was one thing I used to